Dear Father, you are an uncomfortable conversation. Each memory, a running tear scalding my face, my heart is an open wound. Dear Father, you are a tedious sentence. Each word stitched in loops across my chest, my skin is mangled in scars. Dear Father, with every misstep, I feel the ground limp beneath my feet. Every day is a balancing act of forgiveness and letting go, of which both I fail recklessly. Dear Father, I'm finding my way back to anger because anger is a name I can pronounce. Dear Father, I seek to ask one question, yet I fear I know the answer, but I will ask you regardless. Why did you stop holding my hand, and why did you let me go? You know, Mother named me Shylock. She said, I took after you. I'm searching between frown lines and crow's feet. I cannot find you there. I don't remember the taste of your voice. I don't remember the scent of your skin. I am forgetting the fragrance of your memory, and I'm teaching myself to mourn the living. So I want to tell you the story about a woman who swapped her name for a band and 3 letters, working her face through knockout punches as she straddled her babies in her pouch. This is the story of a woman whose hands were battered from the match. You see, she balled her fist to conceal her fears. This is the story of a woman who was taught that you must behave well, that you do not leave the warmth of your home. Even if the heat will kill you, you stay till it singes your bones. This is the story of a woman who learned to mask her cravings, who knotted her failures like Dutch wax wrapped twice around her hips, who wore her shame like pearls with ease. This is the story of a woman who was taught to behave well, who learned to build banks out of used beverage tins. You see, nobody told her that sacrifice comes with no interest. This is the story of a woman who will never make the history books, whose story will be the wind that soaks the dust, whose face I wear, whose hips I bear, and whose heart I refuse to match, whose life is littered with unanswered questions, whose survival is a puzzling miracle, but who never stopped loving regardless. And so when I was a little girl, my mother would mix a bucket of dough into the night. You see, rising to twice the size of her forgotten dreams, she would squeeze each ball into the searing heat. This was what it took to put clothes on our backs and books in our bags. My mother would never let her children out with an empty stomach. I'm a woman now, and I just happen to be my mother's daughter. Knowing courage in her blistered hands, knowing fearlessness in the lines of her smiling face. Sometimes we barter in silence like people do secret handshakes. She recalls the woman who hawked the clothes off her back to keep me here, and I recall the woman trapped between a shop floor and a tuition payment, too far away from home to know if I would ever make it. But somewhere between our silence and the humming generator, my mother whispers, "We made it." She clutched me in her clay-colored arms, frail and thin, bruised from the warring earth. She suckled me from her fallen breast, beaten of life, she laid me on her chest. Her heart thumping like a steady drumbeat, she said, "You will not be catfish. Point and kill. They will not choose you like they chose me." You see, she came with an entrance. Umbilical cord wound so tight around your neck like hands pressing against your throat, I feared you would break. The silence was deafening, the longest I had ever heard. The air was stiff and my world stood still, but you came. This thing, starry-eyed, head adorned in a kinky bouquet, from dancing a combi in my womb and somersaulting to praise songs, shrugging those shoulders, believing you had arrived. You would never listen. But hear me when I say, you will not be catfish. Point and kill. Wriggling like a worm, devoured as prey, licked to the bone. You must tell your daughters this tale, that they will not be catfish. point and kill. They will not choose them like they chose me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can I get some? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Ugoma said, my name is Wana Udobang. Sometimes I write in magazines about people. Sometimes I write and perform poetry. But all the time, I'm always telling stories. And stories are a very huge part of my life because I always say that they saved me. And a lot of the stories I just told you were about different parts in my life where things were falling apart. But stories have always helped me bring my life back together. And so I think I'm very obsessed with storytelling and art because I think really it can change us in so many beautiful ways. It can help us heal. It can help us understand each other. It can help us reimagine the lives that is possible for us as well.